Miriam, where were you this afternoon? You skipped the Moms Club meeting again. I have to say we're getting more concerned about your frequent absence. Is this something we need to be concerned about? Hi, Dory. Oh gosh, I totally forgot about it till you just mentioned it. Thanks for reminding me. Yes, but you do realize that the meeting is over now, don't you? Right. Oh gosh. Look, I'm so sorry about that. It just totally slipped my mind. I'll have you know that you were the only one who was absent today. And you know this wasn't the first time as well. Correct? Yeah. I have missed quite a few of those meetings, haven't I? We don't officially state that this meeting is mandatory. However, there is an unwritten rule where we require all of the members to attend once a month. May I ask why this seems to be such a challenge for you? Dory, I understand. I really do. And again, I am so sorry for missing it again. I've been so tied up with work. I honestly just forgot. You forgot? Is that your excuse? Well, yes. I mean, it's the truth. I'm just being honest here. Well, that's barely acceptable. This is the most important meeting for us mothers, and you should know that. If I may say, that's quite a disgrace. If your child comes first, then surely these meetings should have a higher priority over anything else that you do. Don't you agree? Well, yes, but I was bombarded with meetings and deadlines at work. Like I said, it just slipped my mind. I actually knew I wasn't going to be able to make it. I just forgot to tell you about it. I had it written on a Post-it and I stuck it on my PC screen. Right. Gosh, this sounds like a lame excuse. I know. But I'm so sorry, Dory. I feel really bad that I missed another one of these meetings. Well, I won't be hearing any more of these excuses next time. You have to attend, Miriam. Otherwise, the kindergarten events won't go as smoothly. I understand. May I remind you that the upcoming Christmas and New Year event is the biggest event for all of our children and their families? You partaking in these meetings and events will make a huge impact on how much fun the children can have. Right. I do understand. You missed the Halloween event last month, and you know what a success that was. Right. I wish I could have been there for that one too. But if it was a success, then maybe that means that you can manage totally fine without me? If anything, it sounds like you don't even need me to be there. That is not true. Do you know how much extra work we had to put in to cover for you? Do you know how much easier it could have been to have another helping hand? Oh. Okay. Sorry. So when is the next meeting? I'll make sure to attend that one. I'll pencil it in my calendar right now. You will be notified about that in our email, which we'll send within the next few days. Okay. By the way, do you think you could possibly have these meetings at a different time? Meaning? Meaning any time besides in the afternoons on a weekday? How about in the mornings on a weekend? And give me one good reason as to why we should adjust our regular monthly meetings to suit your plans. Oh, no. I didn't mean it like that. I just meant to say that I'm sure there are other mothers who would appreciate a change in the hours too. There are a few other moms besides me who work like I do, right? Maybe if we voted on it or something, we can come up with a better solution to make sure that everyone can attend. What do you think? Well, that sounds absurd. There's no reason for us to do that. So far, you are the only one who has been absent. Other mothers who work are still making it to the meetings during their lunch hours. Why can't you? Don't be so selfish here, Miriam. But those meetings are often at inconvenient times for other people who work. Weekday lunch hours aren't exactly the best times. Well, other people seem to be able to make it. And besides, afternoon tea is a perfect way for us mothers to discuss important matters in a relaxed atmosphere. Well, okay. But how about joining online then? I mean, do we physically have to be present at the meetings? Why, yes, of course. But wouldn't you rather have… Oh, stop retaliating. Just hush. I won't have you mocking me just because I'm a stay-at-home wife. What the… No, that's not what I meant. I know exactly what you meant. How dare you insult me like that? What? No! Just because you have a job, do you think you can look down on those of us who don't? Or are you simply jealous that you can't have afternoon tea or go out shopping so freely like us? Which one is it?
Neither of those. Honestly, there's a bit of a misunderstanding here. I definitely don't look down on you or anyone else, and I'm not jealous of all the free time that you get. I mean, sure, a bit more time would be nice, but I'm not exactly jealous of that. I have the weekends free for all of that. So yeah, there's a bit of a misunderstanding here, so I wanted to clear that out.
I see.
I just think that maybe there's a better way to manage these meetings. For example, how about if someone were to write up a short summary of the meeting and sends it to everyone? You know, in bullet point form or something? So that for those of us who don't attend, for whatever reason, they can be kept in the loop.
Ah! And you call yourself a mother like that?
Excuse me?
Poor Halsey. Do you think that she'll be okay with that?
I'm sorry? What does my daughter have to do with any of this?
Well, if you keep going like this, Halsey will be left out if not bullied by everyone. And we don't want that now, do we?
I'm really not following here. What on earth do you mean by that?
Well, you see, if the moms all have a good friendship between each other, then that will reflect well on all of our children. Happy mothers, happy children, if you like. But if not, that will only show how much of a terrible example we are as adults and as mothers who don't get along with each other.
Right.
What kind of mother would want to set a bad example for them? Maybe when Halsey becomes a teenager, she'll go about her own way like a lone wolf too. Like you, Miriam.
Sorry, but I don't think Halsey has got anything to do with all of this. And besides, if the mothers can't attend a meeting for work reasons, then isn't that setting a good example?
How so?
Well, they'll see how career-oriented their mothers are. As women, don't you think that's setting a great example for our daughters?
See? There you go again. Belittling me like that just because I don't have a job like you do.
No! Oh, jeez. That's not what I meant. Please, I didn't mean it like that.
How dare you insult me like that again?
No. All I'm saying is that there are other moms who work too. And I want to make sure that everyone is given an equal chance to do what they can for their children. Myself included. Don't you get similar complaints from the other mothers too?
Absolutely not. Like I said, most of them do their best to attend every single time.
Well, so do I. And I keep telling you that I will try to do so going forward. I promise.
Oh, maybe I need a word with your husband too then.
Ray? Why would you need to talk to Ray?
I mean, if you think about it, the reason why you have to work is because he doesn't earn enough to provide for the family. Right? If he had more income, then perhaps you wouldn't have to work so hard and essentially miss our meetings. Poor thing.
So, hang on a second. First, you brought my daughter into this, and now my husband. Please. This was my fault. So don't bring them into the picture. Okay?
Poor you. I know it's not like me and my family are the wealthiest people around here, but at least my husband earns enough to provide us the luxury of comfort. Poor Halsey. She doesn't have any of that, does she?
Well, no. But we manage just fine. She knows we love her, and she loves us back too. I don't understand your point in all of this. This is my family you're talking about. Please stay out of it. It's really none of your business.
I'm just telling you what other moms are thinking, you know. We've all noticed how you hardly go to pick Halsey up from the kindergarten.
That's because Ray finishes work earlier than I do. It just works better if he picks her up on his way home, instead of me at a later time.
Well, usually the mothers pick their children up from school, don't they? Everyone else seems to pick their children up but poor Halsey. She's the only one with her dad picking her up.
I don't think that matters. She loves her dad picking her up anyway. She's a daddy's girl.
Oh, just admit that you're jealous, Miriam. It's okay.
Of what? Of you?
Of our husbands who earn more than yours.
Are you crazy? Are you that self-righteous that you think everyone is jealous of you? I've never thought that.
Oh, of course. I forgot that your husband is just a regular employee. Isn't he? Whereas my husband is in the upper management and on the board of directors in his company. It may be more responsibility, but it's also more money, you see.
Well, yes, Compared to your husband, Ray might be a regular businessman, but so what? He works hard and he loves his job. That's all that matters.
Yes, but don't you think that's unfair on Halsey? Just because he's working in a job he enjoys, you have to work. Which means you don't get to spend as much time with her. Which ultimately means you also miss our mom club meetings.
Well, yes. But no! Stop trying to make sense into this because it doesn't work like that.
I mean, I'm so glad that I'm a stay-at-home mom in that sense. I can give my full attention to my children. And that's the least they deserve from their mother.
Excuse me, but my husband and I take the entire weekends off to spend quality family time with our daughter, too. There's nothing wrong with the way we spend time with her. So I don't think there's any reason for me to be listening to any of this from you. Besides, even if my husband were to get a raise or be filthy rich, that won't change anything. I wouldn't quit what I do. I love my job. Maybe you're the one who's just jealous that I have a career that I love and you don't.
How dare you?
Well, that's what it sounds like.
Absolutely not. And besides, what kind of job is that good that you would choose work over your family? You must be insane.
I'm sorry, but I run my own business. Thank you very much. Well, technically, I run it with my brother, so we're co-owners. But it's a long-running family business. My brother is the CEO of the company, and I'm the senior vice president.
What?
What? No, I'm sure you're surprised since I don't go around flaunting my title to anyone. But seeing as you're so interested in it, I'll have you know that about me.
Right. Well, great.
And by the way, your husband, Jim, was it?
Yes. What about him?
If I remember correctly, he works for BB Trading, doesn't he?
Yes, that's right.
Well then, his company is our client. They've signed contracts with us.
Right. I see.
You do understand what I'm trying to imply here, yes?
Well, yeah.
I guess you're not familiar with how a business works then.
Right. Well, explain it to me then.
So basically, in simple terms, your husband's company needs my company. They buy products from us for their business, and without them, they won't have a running business. Understand?
Right. I don't usually talk to my husband about his business affairs, so this is all gibberish to me.
Just as I thought. You're not interested in your husband or his work, are you? Just his income and his title.
How rude! That's not true.
I would say that you have no right to demean my husband's work if you know nothing about what the business life is like. You clearly have no idea how hard it is to be working. If you dare say anything more about me, my husband, or my daughter, then you need to see what's coming for you.
Wait, hold on. What do you mean by that?
I'll make sure that my company cuts your husband's company off as our client.
What? So you mean you will have him fired?
Not quite, although I wish that were to be the case. It just means that your husband's company could potentially have a huge loss coming for them. Are you following what I'm saying?
Well, you better leave him out of this.
Well, right back at you. Who do you think has been talking about my family like some kind of trash up to this point?
You're right. Yes, you're right. Look, Miriam. Look here.
What?
I'm sorry.
For what?
I'll admit I have said some heartless things about you and your family.
Uh-huh.
So I do apologize for mocking your husband like I did. And for the remarks I made about Halsey.
Mm-hmm. Is that all? Don't you think there's more?
Right. And for talking ill of you, I suppose.
And? And for what else?
Well, I've said it all, haven't I? What else is there?
You should feel sorry for all of us mothers out here, don't you think?
What do you mean? Why should I feel sorry for them?
For holding the mom meetings, all so that you can talk behind our backs and have nothing but a lame old gossip session instead.
What? But that's absurd and a false accusation.
You can try, but you can't hide it from me, Dory. I know all about it, you know. And seeing as we're on this topic, let me tell you what I know and what I think. And what other people think of you for a change. How they think you're a cheapskate and an extremely selfish person.
What? No, I'm not.
How every time you choose to hold the meetings at some fancy restaurant, and you don't take into consideration how expensive it can be for other people. How you make everyone split the bill and pay for things they didn't even eat.
That's not true.
Oh, really now? Then where did you hold the last meeting, The Kingsley Hotel, right? And the one before that? The Flemingtons?
Oh, but that was a coincidence.
A coincidence? How?
Well, they had a seasonal afternoon tea offer and everyone seemed to want to go there.
I don't think that's what you would call a coincidence. And I haven't finished yet. If the moms tell you that they can't attend the meeting, I know that you talk about them behind their backs. And we all have to listen to you vent. Do you know how that makes us feel?
No! Oh dear. You have it all wrong, Miriam. I'm the host. I'm the organizer of these meetings, so of course I have the right to choose where to go. I just make suggestions and they either agree or disagree. And most of the times, they like where I pick to have our meetings. That's not my fault, is it now?
From what I've heard, you're quite forceful with it. You make them agree to wherever you choose. You better apologize to all of us, individually, about all of this.
You're being over the top here, Miriam, don't you think?
No, I do not. Do you think that you can get away with this? After all you've done to us? Since this text conversation between Miriam and Dory, we all thought that Dory would apologize to all of the mothers who she caused trouble to. But she never did. I guess she doesn't feel guilty or bad for what she did. But apparently, her husband has been away from home more often, going on frequent business trips. It seems like his business is falling apart and could be in a lot of trouble. Was that due to the awful relationship between Miriam and Dory? We shall never know. As for Miriam, somehow rumor got round that she was the senior vice president of a major company. This made Dory feel uneasy, but she has kept her distance from her, so that's good. It seems like the Moms Club meetings are still being held, but on an online basis, and now everyone is attending. Perhaps that's the best thing that came out of this, and let's hope it stays like this for the sake of all the busy working moms out there and for our children. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please like it and see you in the next one.
Linda, can I ask you something, if you don't mind? I don't mean to sound rude or anything, but are you almost close to retirement age or something?
Michaela, that's a bit out of line, don't you think? As a matter of fact, I'm in my 40s, so that means I'm older than you, but obviously there's no way I'm anywhere near retirement age yet. Can't you at least tell from my appearance? And how can that even make sense if our children are in the same grade at school? Don't you have any common sense?
You're obviously well into your 40s, so that's not so far away from retirement.
That's nothing more than just a big misconception on your part.
But if you ever compared your appearance to the rest of us in our group of mom friends, you stand out because of your old age. So that's why I've always wondered just how old you were, but it makes sense that you're in your 40s. Isn't it funny that you're more than 20 years older than me? You're like old enough to be my mother.
Michaela, I know you're still young and immature, but everything you've been saying is just rude and completely out of line. Don't you realize how inappropriate your comments are? No one can stop you from thinking what you want, but as a proper adult, you should have the decency to keep these things to yourself. Well, if you have any common manners, that is. Not that it's any of your business, but I had my son later than most people give birth. But he's grown into such a kind and handsome young boy, so I feel really lucky to be this happy.
Well, I had my first child when I was 20, so as a young mom, these things bother me, and I have to let it out in the open. I mean, giving birth when you're 40? Imagine how old you're gonna be when your son graduates from high school. I would be so embarrassed if I were in your position.
That's just your opinion. I hope you realize that it's not such a good thing to force your values and opinions onto others. Some people don't appreciate that kind of assertiveness.
Whatever, that's not the point I'm trying to make. On another note, have you not noticed your own body odor?
Body odor. Oh, I was a bit rushed this morning and didn't have time to shower after going to the gym, so maybe I'm still a bit sweaty from my workout.
That's not what I'm talking about. You see, even your excuses are lame because you're so old.
It wasn't meant to be an excuse. And besides, I don't have the time to be wasting on people who don't have any common sense, so I just replied back with the first thing that came to mind.
How dare you?
As a matter of fact, do you even know what it means to have common sense?
Oh, Linda, there's something else actually. You're always dressed in clothes that look like they came from a secondhand shop. Do you buy everything on sale? Perhaps because you can't afford anything more expensive? How sad though, not being able to buy anything at retail price, especially at your age. But if you could at least put some more effort into your appearance and not dress in such dull colors all the time. Most people will judge you by the way you look, and first impressions are pretty important, you know. You don't want everyone to think that you're dull and boring on the inside and out, do you?
I've never been a big fan of flashy fashion ever since I was a child. I don't see why you have to insult my fashion sense on top of everything else as well.
I'm just pointing it out as a favor to you because it just makes you look like a poor old woman. And on top of that, a smelly one as well.
I'm completely speechless. How do you live with yourself every day being this rude and inappropriate?
What does your husband do for a living? Does he even have a job? I mean, if you're so poor that you can't even afford to buy your clothes at retail price, there must be something going on, right?
This is really none of your business, so I'd appreciate it if you would just stop already.
Then tell me, what exactly does your husband do?
I still don't see why it should be any of your concern, but my husband and I both have proper jobs.
What? You also work at your age? That's such a shame. Is your husband's pay that bad that you also have to work and contribute to your household?
Oh no, that's not the reason why at all. My husband makes more than enough to support our family. But I run my own company, so that's why I've always been involved ever since the business was established. And most importantly, I enjoy my job, which is why I've continued to work even after having my son. So far, there hasn't been any reason why I should stop working either.
That's what you say, but why don't you just admit that you have to keep working because you need that income? You can't get by on just your husband's earnings, right? On the other hand, my young and successful husband earns more than enough to support our family, so I can stay at home full time. So what do you think? Doesn't it make you jealous?
I feel like this conversation is going nowhere. I wonder if it's because of our generation gap, or maybe because you have no common sense or manners. We just have to keep talking at each other.
Oh, come on. Having your first child in your 40s. There's nothing more depressing than that. And you have to work full time because your husband alone can't support your family with his income? It's too bad for you, but it looks like you drew the short end of the stick. Your situation is so dismal compared to the rest of us. Perhaps you should consider not attending the upcoming class observation day.
Why would you even say something so rude and insulting? You're really testing my limits with these comments. I'm not going to sit back and take all this harassment for much longer.
I hope you're not trying to threaten me. Feel free to get mad, but just know that you can't scare me enough for me to back down. You're just a poor old woman making a fuss out of nothing. And as a matter of fact, we all find the situation really unacceptable.
What do you mean? In what way?
Well, there's nothing special about you except that you're the oldest mom in our group of friends. But for some reason, whenever you're around, everyone just shifts their attention to you and listens intently to everything you have to say. It just doesn't make sense. It annoys me that you take on such a bossy demeanor just because you're older than the rest of us.
Huh? That's never been my intention, but I think it's only natural for everyone to act that way. I am, in fact, older than everyone in our group. It's just common courtesy to treat those who are older than you with respect. In fact, I don't think I've ever met anyone lacking as much common sense as you, Michaela. I'm surprised that you even consider yourself to be a proper adult.
Well, I'm young and pretty, so that gives me the upper hand, and I can get away with a lot, more than you. Especially since I don't smell like an old nursing home. Ugh, I don't even want to be in the same room as you.
How dare you?
Then, do you have any idea how bad you smell? Like old people in adult diapers. And what if your son starts smelling like that too?
What are you talking about?
And oh my goodness, what if my son starts smelling like you as well? I'll have to tell him not to play with your son anymore or go anywhere near him.
Okay, that's enough. Do you realize how absolutely immature you're being?
Well, if you don't want that to happen, can you stop attending our mom lunches or school events? all these gatherings and events would be much better without your bossy presence.
Is that what you want? To isolate me from everyone else in our group? Would it finally satisfy you if you didn't have to see me?
Well, yeah. I mean, you're so much older, so no one would actually think to associate you with our group of young moms. And we have nothing in common except that our kids just happen to be in the same class. You're an old mom, so you have no business being around our group. The rest of us are still in our 20s. Oh, and we don't want your old person smell to be permeating through the classroom, so don't even think about attending the open school next week.
That won't be a problem, because you're the one who won't be attending the open school.
What do you mean?
Remember when you asked me earlier what I did for a living? Well, let me take this opportunity to tell you. I run the company that your husband works for, as a matter of fact, and that makes me his boss.
Huh? What are you talking about?
Your husband is such a hard worker and honest too, so this is such a disappointment. And having someone like you as a wife, I can only sympathize with what he must have to deal with every day.
That's just crazy. You're making all this up, aren't you? There's no way that you own the company that my husband works for. This is the first time I'm hearing such a thing.
Well, your husband didn't want the fact that I was his employer to affect the relationship between us as mom friends, so he's never brought it up with you. And he also made me promise not to mention it to you either.
What? I don't understand. So my husband works for you?
Yes, that's exactly right. The one that you've been insulting and harassing this entire time is in fact your husband's employer. So, what do you think about me now? Do you finally understand the gravity of your misunderstanding?
What? No, this just doesn't make sense. And I had no idea since my husband never said anything about it. You can't blame me for not knowing.
Regardless, your harassment goes way beyond what is acceptable, so I'm sure that I can sue you for emotional damages if I want.
What? Wait, now you're just overreacting. You're not serious about suing me, are you? I never meant any harm by all this, and besides, I never even knew about your position.
So what are you saying? If I didn't have the position as your husband's employer, those comments towards me would have been acceptable? You even went so far as to referring to my son and insulting him at the same time. That's just even more unacceptable and goes way beyond what is common courtesy. You should really be ashamed of yourself.
But it was nothing more than just a small joke. Come on, Linda, you know I only said those things to see if I could ruffle your feathers a bit. You should know not to take me so seriously.
Perhaps if you weren't so oblivious to how society has changed, you'll see that many women are having children later in age. It's definitely not such a rare thing for first-time mothers to be in their 40s, like myself, especially for women who have careers. However, you still think that being a young mom gives you a higher status and think that it's okay to look down on anyone else? I can't believe that you've come this far being so naive about everything. In fact, I'm worried about your son being raised by someone lacking such common sense.
How dare you? You have no right saying that. First of all, people your age shouldn't be having babies to begin with. Perhaps you should consider your own behavior before scolding me about my attitude, because giving birth in your 40s is much more unacceptable. I only said what was true, and I told you that I didn't mean any harm by those remarks. So, can you please stop making this into a bigger deal than it needs to be?
Are you sure that you want to keep criticizing me for having my son later in age?
I don't understand. Why not? That's the reason for this conversation in the first place, isn't it?
Well, because I heard that your mother-in-law gave birth to your husband when she was even older than I am now.
What are you talking about? What does that have to do with what we're discussing? Don't bring up something that's totally unrelated to this.
It's absolutely related to what we're talking about. You've been insulting me for having my son in my 40s this entire time, so essentially you're also insulting your mother-in-law for the same reason as well. I'm sure she'll be shocked to find out that you think so poorly of people having children later in age. I mean, her own daughter-in-law insulting her like that?
Stop! I never said that. You better not say anything about this to my husband. Besides, I wasn't bad-mouthing my mother-in-law. You're just trying to put words in my mouth.
Is that so? Because you seem pretty desperate to redeem yourself. I'd like to know what sort of man would keep loving someone with such a bad character.
I told you that this was just a joke. Maybe it got a bit out of hand, so I'm sorry, okay? But please, don't tell my husband about any of this.
It's too late now. I've already informed him of all the insults and hurtful comments that you made about me.
What? Why would you do something like that behind my back?
Your husband knows firsthand just how much his own mother struggled being an older mom, so he was quite shocked that you would make such offensive comments.
I can't believe that you went directly to him without my permission. This has nothing to do with him. I can probably sue you for this.
Go ahead, be my guest. But let me tell you that it'll just be a waste of time because you'll just end up losing the case.
What? How can you be so sure?
I guess someone as naive as you would benefit from learning a lesson or two about how society works, even at the price of losing face. And it's probably better now than later. It's pretty obvious from our conversation that you lack any sort of common sense, but perhaps it's something that you can eventually acquire as you learn to survive on your own.
What do you mean on my own?
Well, as you can imagine, your husband was quite displeased when he learned what you'd been up to. Oh, and I also mentioned to him what I heard from someone else the other day, and it looks like he's completely fed up with your behavior and has lost all affection towards you.
What are you talking about?
I heard that you were bragging about some young guy that you met at the bar and how you were basically his sugar mama. But where exactly are you getting the money to provide for your lover?
How do you even know about that?
The mommy network spreads wide and far. You never know who's watching or who's connected to someone you know. I know that you take pride in being a young mom, married to a wealthy man, and living a carefree life. And there's nothing wrong with that, if that's what you find purpose in. But because of your unthoughtful behavior, you've lost everything that gave your life any meaning.
Huh? What do you mean by that?
Well, everyone is going to be old at some point, including yourself. So insulting someone for their age is just pointless. And as far as I understand, you've never worked a single day in your life, so you probably don't know what it means to survive in the real world. And on top of everything else, if your family ends up deserting you because of this incident, what else is left for you?
Wait, let's just calm down a bit, okay? Linda, please, I was wrong about everything, and I understand that now.
It took you long enough to realize, but you've just turned a blind eye to your own faults the entire time.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But whatever, if that's what you think, then fine. It's just that I couldn't believe you really were my husband's employer. But now I know that's true. And I realize that some of my comments may have been a bit offensive, especially towards someone in your position. I know that I was behaving inappropriately and that I made a huge mistake. But would it hurt you to forgive me now? I'll apologize for everything I've done.
After all this time, don't you think it's a bit too late?
And I'm sure my husband will understand as long as you can explain to him that this was all a big misunderstanding. So you can do me that favor, right? And especially if it comes directly from you. I'm sure my husband will be more willing to understand the situation, since you're his boss and everything.
And why exactly do I need to explain anything to your husband? I don't owe you any kind of favors as far as I'm concerned. I wouldn't even consider us as friends. We just so happen to have children who are classmates, and that's about the only thing we have in common. You're nothing more than an acquaintance, and a very rude one at that.
There's no need to be so disrespectful. Like you said, we're both mothers with children who are the same age. That makes us equal to one another, right?
Sure, and so what?
Well, wouldn't it be better if we continue to get along with one another, since we're going to be acquainted with each other as long as our kids are still in school?
What do you mean, continue to get along? Did we ever used to get along before any of this? I surely didn't think so. So this might just be another one of your misunderstandings.
Don't say that! If you just give me another chance, you'll see that I'm a completely different person now.
Wow, so you're saying that you've turned over a new leaf in just a matter of the past 30 minutes or so? That's pretty amazing. Or rather, that you must have such a simple life that you can become reborn so easily.
Who cares about the specific details? I'm serious about becoming a proper adult now. And I promise that I'll think before I act or say something, so I don't do anything inappropriate from now on. You know what they say, that you should always listen to what your elders say.
Elders. I hope you don't mean to use that term towards me. Either way, I'm just glad that I won't have to hear any of your insulting comments from now on. and I hope that you're able to make something of yourself one day.
Wait, you're not just gonna betray me like this, are you? Don't you see that I need your help right now? Are you just gonna leave me to fend for myself? But you'll at least talk to my husband to smooth things over with him though, right?
No way. I don't see any reason I have to, and it's just a waste of my time.
What? That's not fair.
What you're asking of me is to lie to your husband, which I absolutely refuse to do for your sake. It's about time you face the harsh reality of this situation, and perhaps you'll even learn a lesson or two about the proper demeanor of a mature adult.
How could you say something like that?
Well, what about all the insults you made to my face? Don't you think that's a much bigger offense than what I just said? This is just karma coming back to bite you. And now it's your turn to be on the receiving end of all the insults and negative comments. Anyways, I'm pretty certain that it's not going to be all smooth sailing from now on. But you'll learn to manage somehow, because you're young. And that's probably the only thing you have left going for you, right? Michaela tried to talk Linda out of attending the children's open house because of her advanced age, and going so far as saying that she smelled like old people. Unfortunately, she realized too late that Michaela was actually her husband's employer, and that she was a very successful businesswoman. So of course she was in an absolute panic that her husband's career depended a great deal on Linda's authority. And out of the blue, she changed her attitude to try and get on good terms with Linda. Of course, Linda wasn't foolish enough to fall for any of Michaela's games and wouldn't even give her the time of day to redeem herself. In addition, it was true that Michaela's mother-in-law had also given birth later in age, which was a fact that she had known all along. But when her husband found out that she'd been insulting Linda for being an older mom, he took it more personally because his own mother was at one time in the same situation. And in fact, Michaela's rude comments hit a bit too close to home, and he immediately filed for divorce after kicking her out of their home first. Then she was ordered to pay back all the money she spent on her young lover out of her own pocket, and not only that, she had to pay compensation for damages. And on top of everything else, she lost custody of her son, so she had no choice but to start working to avoid drowning in debt and pay for child support. However, with no work experience and limited educational background, she was unable to find any employer that would hire her full-time. In the end, she was working several part-time jobs and barely getting by, desperate every month just to make her debt repayments. As a matter of fact, when one of her co-workers, who was a high schooler, started insulting her because of her age and lack of skill, she was finally able to understand how truly horrible her comments about Linda were. If only she'd been able to realize this sooner. But for now, Michaela seems to have nothing worth hoping for a better life. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to see more content.